Okay, Ethan, let's have a look at your essay. So, first thing I noticed that you haven't done that is always good practice to do is to highlight the most important parts of the question. So, we're looking at how far would you agree that terror was the most important means used by the Nazis to consolidate power, and then between 33 and 34 the dates there are also really important. So anything that's good about your essay I'm going to highlight in green, and the first thing I like is that you've taken time to do a plan, so straight away that shows the examiner that you've thought about what you're going to write in your essay, and just making note of some key dates and things, some stats that you want to remember obviously for your essay, which is great. So let's have a read. Terror was a major factor that led to Hitler and his Nazi party to obtain and begin to maintain their power between 33 and 34. Good. So straight away you've made a point and you've said that it was a major factor. As Weimar Germany had consisted of numerous coalitions and brief appointments of chancellorship, Hitler would have seen that something different had to be done to allow the Nazi Party to stay in power long enough to successfully implement change. Incidents such good. Okay, first of all, that's really good. You've got some key terms in there as well and a little bit of background information. Incidents such as the Reichstag fire, good use of a key term, led to bills such as the Enabling Law, another great key term, being passed, securing a dictatorship, and acts such as the Night of the Long Knives, committed by the SS, eliminated other political rivals, further consolidating power. However, good connective there, other aspects such as propaganda also strengthened support. So all in all, a strong start to your essay. You've clearly said what your argument's going to be and how you're going to counter that argument, which is great. Let's have a look then. The Reichstag fire of the 27th of February 1933, great subject knowledge there, triggered serious alarm in Germany due to van der Lubbe, good, being accused of the incident, a communist, good. The German people was made to view, right, so anything in blue needs changing, was needs changing to were, please, made to view communism as a major threat to society and therefore led to their party being banned, good subject knowledge again. This was a key step in consolidation of power as the KPD was a threat to the fascist regime. Good, that's good so far because you're linking back to the question there, which is great. Contrasting views, and it was a symbol to other political parties that disobedience shall not be tolerated. Change that to would not be tolerated, please. The further passing of the Enabling Act, which provided Hitler with the foundations on which he could build his dictatorship on. That needs changing, please. Just review this sentence structure, please, because it's not reading as well as it should. Is heavily linked to the Reichstag fire. The bill was passed as Hitler promoted it as a way to make decisions in time of turmoil, and mobs of SA members chanted down the Reichstag, demanding the enabling law to be passed, which it was after a few minutes. Seems to me that this use of terror by the SA towards members of the Reichstag persuaded the politicians to pass a law in which their own powers would be decreased. As a result of the Enabling Act being passed, Hitler was granted the dictatorial power over Germany to transform it into a complete totalitarian state. Good use of key terms again here. Just be careful here though. I wonder if there's a way that you could possibly just neaten this paragraph up, this section of your essay, because you're dealing with two separate points here. You're dealing with terror, and then you're in the Reichstag fire, and then you're dealing with excuse me, the legal means like the enabling law in which Hitler consolidated his power. And I wonder if you can just separate those 2 points a little bit more. So let's continue then. Furthermore, Raum and other essay officials began to obtain more ambitious thoughts on the essay's role in the Nazi state. This was seen as a threat to Hitler's position, as the essay had a larger force than even the army and a key factor in the consolidation of power. Good. So there, you've linked back to the question just in time. I was just about to say it was getting a little bit descriptive, so that's great. Joseph Goebbels, the head of propaganda, great knowledge there, strictly kept the German people under heavy surveillance and prohibited any source of information that the public was exposed to that may change their outlook on the Nazis. Decisions such as providing as many homes as possible with radios so they could listen to the Reich radio company proved very useful in the Nazi Party's political affairs. In 1932, 25% of every German household had a radio. In 1936, however, 70%. Great subject knowledge here. This pumped Nazi ideology around Germany at alarming rates, as you were required to always listen to the broadcasts. Overall, this led to the consolidation of the Nazi regime, as it isolated the public from other ideas which may have proven fatal as it have taken forth. Good. You want to just explain this point a little bit further, because you missed out a little bit there about group listening, forced listening, which they used to do as a community. Okay, so let's keep looking. To conclude, the use of terror was a very important factor when it came to the consolidation of the Nazi Party in their early years of power. I came to this conclusion as without acts of terror, SA membership grew from 291,000 in 1932 to 3 million in 1934. That is great subject knowledge there again, which led to Raum, the head of the SA and longtime friend of Hitler, to believe that the SA should have more advanced role. This was part of the revolution from below, in which Nazi members would like for a more senior position rather than what they currently had. Hitler then decided to quell the potential revolution by disposing of many political threats such as Raum, Schleider and 200 more. This use of terror helped to consolidate. Okay, good. Link back to the question there again. It was getting a little confused, but that's good. And the position of the SA was turned into no more than a parade squad. In one single night, the threats from the Second Revolution were silenced. The SA was put firmly underneath the army. All other potential rivals would be afraid of the consequences of pursuing the revolution, and the threat of the SS was displayed as an effective use of maintaining terror. This makes it clear. Again, you're evaluating here and linking back to the question. So this makes it clear that terror was in fact a key reason for the Nazi Party to consolidate power. On the other hand, the use of propaganda by the Nazi state was also... Okay, that doesn't read like it's meant to go together, so you'll have to let me know if the page numbers are wrong or something. Feel of constant danger. The Nazis wouldn't have been able to enforce certain laws which led to the Nazis becoming a solid political party. Without the Reichstag fire, the enabling law wouldn't have been passed, and without the enabling law, Raum and other political threats wouldn't have been killed, leading to further consolidation. All acts of terror frighten the potential threats away. You just want to expand that a little more. What are the other threats that they frightened away? And eliminated the current ones. Propaganda and other factors wouldn't have been followed in great a fashion. Is that meant to be as great a fashion? If terror was not an everlasting fear. I just want you to consider revising your conclusion and make sure you've answered the question clearly. And the reason for that is I'm not sure you've made your point as clearly as you could have. So I just want you to go over that again. So let's move on to grading for now. Okay, Ethan, so last of all, we're going to look at what grade you would actually get for this assessment, should you do it in your exam. So I'm just going to show you where we would start is level 3. We always start on the middle grade boundary and we look for how much of that you've actually met. So looking at the level 3 part of the grade boundary, let's see what parts you've done. The question is partly addressed. Definitely your question is at least partly addressed, so you've met that. There is a demonstration of some relevant knowledge, yes there is, and understanding. Evaluated and analysed in parts, yes it is. In places, knowledge is imparted, definitely. I've said before where you needed to explain points a little bit further. The analysis is linked to the judgments made, sometimes, but not always. The information has some relevance and is presented with limited structure. Now I'm going to highlight that because it is limited structure in the sense that your ideas seem to jump around a little bit, and also there are a couple of things that you've missed in terms of meeting the specific demands of the question. So we'll go over those in just a second. So there's just one point that you've missed out that I think it really would have added something to your essay, and that's the death of Hindenburg. Probably you wanted to say something about Hindenburg dying and how that was another way that Hitler was able to consolidate power, because then he became Chancellor. Also, I'd be looking to probably expand on your conclusion. So all in all, I would award this probably top marks of level 3. So you're looking around 12 marks. That would be around a DA or a CC, just in between those two. So what I'd like you to do for DIRT is to make those revisions that I've highlighted, and then we'll regrade and see where your question's at then. Well done.